Okay, good evening. We are 2 days after Parashat Toldot. We saw the story of Yitzchak, that it's, in a way, it's a little bit of a repeat of what happened to Avraham Avinu, that was afraid to say that his wife is his wife. He had to say that it's his sister. And the idea behind that Avraham did it twice, and Yitzchak is repeating it actually for the third time, because their wives were so pretty, and when a goyim saw such a pretty wife, such a pretty woman, they'll take her away, and they basically, if they know that she's married, they'll have to get rid of the husband, which means it's a death sentence. Better to say it's his sister and hoping for Hashem to make a nest than to say that this is your wife and they kill you for sure. That's the idea behind it. It's not so simple, because the Ramban with Nun, complained that this is a problem with Emunah. It's a problem with faith. For such legendary people, Avraham, Yitzchak, to afraid in such a way for their life and not trust Hashem 100% like they should have been, so the Ramban makes a comment about it. It's very deep. That's not what I came to talk about. One thing to highlight from this parasha is that it's very interesting, because this parasha basically signified what happened to us with the descendants of Plishtim, of Esav. Their descendants until this day, we the nation of Israel, and the descendants of Esav and the Philistines and all the rest, the anti-Semitism that we have for 3,300 years since we got the Torah until today, and this is actually prior to the acceptance of the Torah. This is before the Torah was given. Yitzchak is like 200-300 years before. We see that it's always a repeat. When we have a Jew that is very successful, he's become very wealthy. In this case, it used to be Avraham, now it's Yitzchak. He has servants, the servant digging wells. Wells, that was the source of water. You have to dig very deep in the ground, you find water everywhere you go. Otherwise, if there's no lakes or no water to drink, that's it. You don't have any water. It's not like today you have pipes all over. You come to your faucet and you get as much as water as you want. That's the way it was. To make a well was a matter of life and death. Every well he digs, they come and they block it. And that's why we have a city in Israel until this day. It's called Be'er Sheva. It's interesting, the Torah says Ad Hayom Hazeh, until this day, which means, every generation you read in the Torah, it still says Ad Hayom Hazeh, and in reality it worked out fine. That thousands of years, there's still a city called Be'er Sheva. It's very interesting. But besides the point, the idea is like this, that we see that the nations, when they see such a successful person from the descendants of Israel, it bothers them. That's why a very recommended idea to Jews that live in exiles or in every other place, not to attract so much attention, especially when the economy is bad, because you have no idea how many pogroms and tragedies started because of the financial success of the Jewish community. If the community is now wealthy, they live in simple houses, they drive simple cars, it doesn't attract so much hate. Why? It's not so much about it. Look, he's also poor, he's also suffering like us. But once he become the landlords everywhere, he become the judge, he become the main doctors, he become the lawyer, he has businesses everywhere, you see Hebrews on the signs everywhere you go. They drive the nicest car, the ladies have the best jewelry, etc., etc. And they begin to control the banking system, and even in our day, what they call Hollywood and all this nonsense, that attracts negative attention and brings problems later on. That's why Yaakov Avinu, when he sent his sons to Egypt in the time of starvation, he told them, don't walk through one gate. We're going to see you all from an important family, all these brothers coming in one door, it's going to attract so much attention and ayin hara. Each one of you comes separately from a different door. This is the idea for us to learn. But the truth is that anti-Semitism is not subject to. No matter what you are, whether you're poor, you're rich, you're smart, you're not so smart, you're employed, you're unemployed, male, female, all history shown that there was always exist. And it's a part of the creation. It's actually, I'm sad to say it, but it's a part of the plan of Hashem. Hashem sends a policeman around us to watch us what we do, and that's all this going around us to wake us up to do the right thing. If we're not doing the right thing, obviously we're paying the price. So this is a little bit about the parsha. Now I want to ask you a question from subject to subject. We have a mitzvah in the Torah. We saw this entire last parashot how soulmates are made together. We see, Abraham is sending his servant Eliezer to find a wife for his son. And we see it's all around the well. The well was a place of supposedly hanging out. People have to come bring water. It was like the main store in town. Like you have a store, everyone goes there to shop. That's a place to find maybe a shidduch. Find somebody you didn't know. Then tomorrow you send a shadchan to this family and you ask if this girl is available for your son. This is how we do it today in our religious world, or in a wedding, or through professional shadchanim. But the old days, people meet by the well. It's an opportunity to find people because everybody has to come to the well. Cannot avoid it. I want to ask you a question. Speaking about marriages and relationship, we have a mitzvah in the Torah. It's a very important mitzvah. It's called Lesameach Chatan Vekala. When a man and a woman get married, the night of the wedding is a mitzvah to go and make them happy. Not to go and eat, not to go and just dance or to enjoy the music or the beautiful place where they make the wedding. That's not so important. What's really important, doesn't matter where the wedding is, even if it's in a house or in a restaurant or in not such a fancy place. The actual mitzvah is to go and make them happy. Believe it or not, how the halacha called to make them happy, to say Dvar Torah there. To say Dvar Torah, to come to the Chatan and give him a nice Dvar Torah. Today we are so, I don't know the right word, rotten or maybe different word. You understand what I want to say. That when you get married and somebody come and give you a Dvar Torah, say, listen, now why do you come to me now? I'm busy now with my wedding. You think giving me this speech now? And in the old days, the Torah was everything. It's like giving you oxygen. Whether you married or not, you still need it. That was life. So what do they do today? One representative from the yeshiva say a nice short Dvar Torah for everyone. And everyone is Yosef from the mitzvah. It's fulfilling the mitzvah for everyone. And of course, you dance with him and you show him that you care about him, participating in his mitzvah, in his simcha, showing, people remember me. There's also one more mitzvah to tell him that his wife is beautiful. Kala na'ava chasuda. Well, what a beautiful girl you picked up. The Gemara asks, what happened if she's very ugly? What happened? It happens sometimes, no? So, are you allowed to say something that is a lie? Or you better be quiet. Or if he asks you, you have to tell him the truth. I'm sorry, I'm very sorry to disappoint you, but what's the point? So the Gemara said, no, you have to tell him she's beautiful, no matter what. You have to tell him she's beautiful. So the Torah said, what about a lie? The Torah is very strict about liars. Midvar sheker tirchak. It's called sheker leshem shalom. Now we learn a new expression. A lie for the sake of peace, it's not only permitted, it's an obligation, it's a mitzvah. If two people are in a fight, you're allowed to make lies to make peace between them or to avoid more war. If you know one thing that he asks you about his friend and you're going to tell him the truth, that's going to make the war between them worse. You're not allowed to tell him, he said that he hates you, he said that that you owe him money, you're arrogant, you this, you that. You're not going to instigate between them. You have to say the opposite. You're allowed to say the opposite. Well, there's many proofs to it. There's not the time right now to prove. But the idea is, either way, even not for the peace, once a person already made a choice, you're not allowed to come and ruin it for him. Not only about his wife. Not only about his wife. Imagine everybody come and say, what a wife you picked up. What a wife you picked up. It's destroying him. But now it's too late already. If you told him that in the first day when he went on the shidduch with her, that's no problem. You're entitled to tell him the truth. Maybe you open up his eyes for something he doesn't see. But right now, when we have a situation here that the choice was already made, you're not allowed to ruin it for him. Why? He's happy with what he has. The more people will tell him, the more it's going to ruin his relationship. Same thing not only about his wife, about an object that he bought. Let's say he bought something, and you know that the same store or across the street, they sell it for cheaper. You know, across the street, they say, oh, the same store, they sell something else, much better bargain, or better, or whatever the case is. Once he already bought it, you cannot come and tell him, oh, I saw it for half a price over there. It's too late. Unless, in our days, in America at least, you can return it. You know, if you buy it from the major department store, they have a return policy. We have to see if maybe you're allowed to tell him, save him money. You can go and return it and buy it over there. But in a place that you know they bought it and that's it, it's done, or used it already, there's no return, you have to tell him it's beautiful, and you're not telling him, oh, you should have asked me over there, it's half a price. Why? It's done already. Whatever it's done is done. Speaking about liking his wife, it reminds me a story, a true story that happened. A father was telling his son that he doesn't like his wife. Told him, I want you to get rid of her, just divorce her. And the son was ignoring him, being, polite, doesn't make a big deal out of it, but another month, he's ignoring his father. So one time, the father became sick. He wrote his will. He was a wealthy man. So he had 5 sons. That's it, 5 sons. And he is about to leave $10 million. And they're going to inherit $2 million each. So he wrote that when he dies, everything he has, his children get equally. But he made a comment that son can only take his share after he divorces her. If he doesn't divorce her, he only gets $2,000 instead of $2 million. So, what happened is, he died, and the first thing that son, when he heard, the lawyer told him about the deal, right away he went to Beit Din and gave her a get. Once he got the $2 million, the next day he went back and got married her again. Baruch Hashem, he wasn't Kohen. If he was Kohen, he cannot return her. She's already a divorced woman. But in his case, he could have done it. He did it. But the brothers found out, oh, here she is again. Right away they took him to Beit Din, to court. And now they're suing him for the $2 million. They has to give it to 4 of them, each one of them $500,000, because it's a trick. And he claims, I did exactly what the will say. The will said that I'm going to get it after I divorce her. I divorced her and I got the money. And they said, no, that wasn't the intention of our father. Obvious, every fool knows that his intention was to get rid of her permanently, not to ever see her face. Not to see her 2 hours later driving a nice car from not only he didn't get rid of her, now he has to pay for a beautiful car whenever she buys. With his money, he's turning around in his grave. So what do you think was the verdict? What do you say?
He's not guilty.
Can he keep the money or not?
What is it? He cannot.
The answer is he has to give them the money. He did not fulfill his father's wish. The judges, the Dayanim, whenever they sit in court, besides the laws, black on white, that you have in the books, they have to use common sense. A lot of common sense. The judge, the Dayan, has flexibility to do things that are not written in the Torah to get the truth out of the people. One of the things he has permission to do is to use his straight judgment. And when a case is not 100% clear, there's a doubt to here and there, he has to go into the mind of a person who wrote the will and see what was his intention, what was the cause that he wrote such a thing. And that to fulfill his wish. His wish obviously was to get rid of her. And since he wasn't, if he was back to life now, of course he wouldn't agree that they take the money. So they ruled it back, and he had to pay back the money. He used to be a judge in Eretz Israel, big tzaddik. His name was Rabbi Yaakov Mutzafi. His son also is a big Rav today. And, he was a Dayan in a court. And one time, two Jews came to court, to Beit Din. They're friends for 40 years. Like they say, with friends like this, who need enemies? So let's call them for the story, Reuven and Shimon. Reuven lent, I don't know, $50,000 to his friend Shimon. They work in the same factory in Israel, to marry his daughter. He told him, next year I'm getting my pension, in one shot. I'll pay you in one shot next year. So you all said, don't worry, I have the money, you'll get it. No, so he lent him the money. It's like brothers. Every day, from morning to night, they're together for 40 years. A year later, he got his pension. 1 day, 2, 3, 4 days. And guess what? He's not returning the money. I started to get nervous. So he saw him. He said, hey, am I going to get the money? I'm also going to need to marry my kids. You have the money for me? So he said to him, what money you're talking about? So I gave you $50,000. What do you mean, what money? A year ago. He said, no. He said, you're getting old, my friend. I'm sorry. What are you talking about? He said, no, what? Are you playing games with me? Come on. He said, I'm sorry. You're my best friend, but I'm not going to give you $50,000 just because you say so. Where? Show me. I sign anything? Anybody saw? All of a sudden he became educated. He know the laws. Show me a piece of paper. No matter what happened, this poor guy that lent him the money goes crazy. It's all his pension, all his life savings. Eventually they ended up in court. Now Rabbi Yaakov Mutzafi, he asked the person, do you have an agreement? You have any witness? Anybody saw? Was in a check? He said, no, I gave him a bag with cash. We were alone in a locker room. Nobody saw. We didn't want people to see the money, so I gave it to him. And he said, Lo hayu dvarim me'olam, never happened. I'm sorry. He's dreaming. He's lying. I don't know what's the story with him. Now the rabbi knows a person doesn't come and cry in court and become emotional for something that never happened. He has to be a real good actor to shake like this and go become red and sweat and cry and scream. And I gave you the money. How can you say? How can you do it to me? If it never happened, he needs proof. He has to go by the Torah, not by your feelings. So he told him, listen, I know that there's nothing against you. There's nothing we can do. But here in this Beit Din, we have a tradition. When cases like this come to us, when we're not sure who's right, and there's no documents, no witnesses, we call up a dead body, somebody who dies in the middle of the night. Tomorrow morning, you come here at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to call Chevrat Kadisha. On the way to the cemetery, they have to pass through the court. We bring up the body to our room. I want you to hold the hand of the dead person, and you say a few sentences, repeat after me, and then if everything will be fine, if you're not lying, you can go. And I say, what do I care? I'll touch a dead body, $50,000. The next day he comes, they bring a dead body, everything. They say, hold his hand. They say, now I want to warn you. So you have to understand, this is according to Kabbalah. If you lied, you're going to feel the hands of the dead person getting tighter and tighter on your hand. There will be a point that you're not going to be able already to change your words. You have to say the truth. Be careful. If you continue to lie, if you're lying and you continue to lie, you can drop dead here. It's not a joke. So the guy said, hey, who are you fooling? The dead is going to hold my hand. Beloni. So as he said, repeat after me. I never received this money from Reuven. It never happened. I don't know what he's talking about. And in the meantime, he feels that the hand of the dead person really is getting tighter on his hand. Tighter and tighter. He gets to a point that it really hurts. Say, hey, listen, what's going on here? He said, I warn you, you think we're joking, huh? You have another few seconds to tell the truth. If not, once he's going to get to a certain position, you get a heart attack and die here. Started to get nervous. So he said, okay, I got the money from him. How much? 50,000. Where? What day? Where was it? Okay. After, you sure? 100%? He said, yes, 100%. And he said, okay. Now you can get up. You can get up, he said. So it wasn't a real body. They covered him with linen. They made a whole show. They brought a coffin, like they're going to bury him. The Chevrat Kadisha people came. They carry it into the thing with the wheels. It looks 100% like a funeral. Maybe they even brought people who cries. They make it a real show. And that's how they got the money out of him. It's a true story that happened. That's how he got the money. There are other cases with the Rabbanim. How they used to get the truth out. One of the ways to get the truth out, they leave the room, they hide, and they leave the two people to fight. When they're alone in a room, right? Today this camera is even better, but even in the old days he's hiding, and he leaves them alone. So now they begin to talk. They're not embarrassed, through the conversation. Or if it's 1 against 2, they leave the 2 alone. And they listen to everything they say. Same thing the police do here. They have all kinds of cameras. They put somebody in jail. They put a cop undercover inside this thing, and he gets information out of him. And he thinks it's his buddy. It's his friends. Hey, you can trust me. You can tell me. Well, I'm also a murderer. You can tell me. And that's through his confession. Later they find him guilty. So I started to ask a question. What's the point that we have an obligation to go and make the Chatan and Kala happy? Isn't it the happiest night of their life? Anyway, they're very happy. They don't need me to come and make them happy. They're happy to finally get together. They know each other for weeks or for months. They're going home tonight for the first time. So what's the problem? They need me to come make them happy? What's the point here? Why the Torah was so important for Hashem that we have to do this mitzvah? So what is it like? Let me explain something interesting. I'll give an analogy, a story. Mashal le'adam shekana kli za'av. It's like a person who bought a gold utensil. A gold jar or something like that. But it mixed with copper. It's not 100% pure gold. It mixed with copper. But he doesn't know really to tell how much gold and how much copper. He's hoping the most of it is gold. He bought it in some bargain store. He doesn't really know. So the only way to know how much gold and how much copper is to put it by the fire and melt it, or in certain way, with certain weight, they can tell which one is gold, which one is copper. In the meantime, he's very upset. He's depressed. Oh, I paid $2,000. Maybe it doesn't worth anything. What a fool. How do I know I made a good deal? In the end, I'm going to find it's 95% copper. Only in the outside is gold, So he's upset. So his friend comes to him. He saw that he's upset because of that. So he's telling him a joke. And you see that the joke didn't make him any happy. Still depressed. So his son, look at his father, is very upset. The son liked the joke very much. And usually his father would laugh very much from a joke. But now, you see that he didn't even smile. Then after a few minutes, another friend saw that. And he came to him and said, I bought the same jar yesterday. You bought it from that store? Yeah, I also bought it, and I checked that this morning. It's almost all pure gold. Oh, right away. The depression disappeared. Wow, he's happy now. Now he's laughing at a joke from 5 minutes ago. So the son saw that. So the son came to his father. He said, oh, look, the first one told you a beautiful joke. You didn't care. Now this guy said to you that he bought this thing and you're very happy. So the same thing here is in a wedding. What's the comparison here? How you compare it to a wedding? When you come to a Chatan and Kala in the wedding, and you say to the Chatan, to the boy, Kala na'ava chasuda, what a beautiful wife you got. Right? He knows that he made a good deal. Same thing with the jar, with the gold. Until now he was curious. Did I do a good deal? If she is going to be a good wife, what people thinking about her? Is she pretty enough? People like her, people don't like her. He doesn't know. But when every person comes and says, oh, what a beautiful kala, what a beautiful kala, that's like telling him, oh, it's all gold. So it's not that, of course, naturally he's happy, it's his wedding, but he still have doubts. Until the last minute he has doubt. When the doubts is disappearing, the doubts disappear when everybody come and tell him what a good deal you make. You know, there used to be a rabbi, his name was Bet Levi. Bet Levi, like here, Bet Levi, the house of Levi. And Bet Levi, a very big Talmid Chacham, and his wife passed away. So now he's alone. So they're looking for another shidduch for him. He wants to get remarried. So one time he went to a certain town, and when we got to that town, they offer him a widow that her husband passed away with 8 orphans, 8 kids in a house. Imagine a house full of kids running, throwing things. He's an older person, Talmid Chacham. They're offering him a woman with 8 kids. No, how many people you know in the world that they lost their wife, they're alone, their kids are older already, they're alone in a house, they offer them a widow with 8 orphans, and they agree to get married. It's not so easy. So he saw her, and right away he agreed. He said, okay, I'll marry her. So his friends told him, Rabbi, you sure you want to do such a thing? You have to raise now 8 kids. You finally finish with your own kids. Until you marry them, until you taught them Torah, you're going to start all over again with 8 kids that are not even yours? So listen to his answer. Listen good. He said to them, there is a mitzvah in the Torah when a husband runs away and leaves his wife without a get. She's called aguna. Aguna means she cannot get married until she gets the get. It can be a year, it can be 10 years, it can be 50 years. There's no expiration date. As long as she did not get the get, or he died, if they found him dead, that's a different story. Now she's free. But as long as one of the two did not happen, she never got the get, or he didn't die, she cannot get married. The beautiful years of her young age is disappearing slowly. She's 30, she's 40, she's 50. By now, no, what's the point of getting married? She's an older woman with a cane. She missed her beautiful years. But that's the Torah, that's the halacha. You're not a free woman. You belong to a man. You cannot, no other man can touch your finger. That's it. No, so he said to them, the Torah said, since it's such a agony, such a sad story to leave a woman like this and not give her a get, it's a very horrible thing to do. Every person who can do anything he can to release her from that wicked husband of her, it's a very big mitzvah. So if somebody come and convince him in any way to give her the get, and he released her from him and allow her to get married again, what is it like? It's like it's helping to build Bet HaMikdash. That's how it counts. This is such a big mitzvah. It counts for you like you build a part of the Bet HaMikdash, of the Holy Temple. That's how important it is. So Bet Levi said to them, if I won't marry this woman with her 8 kids, nobody will marry her. So she's still like aguna for the rest of her life. She's stuck like this. So why can't I do it? I will marry her, and I'm going to get her out of her status. She won't be aguna. She'll be married. So it's like for me, building Bet HaMikdash. For the sake of heaven, it's worth it for me. Plus, there is another mitzvah here. If you raise an orphan, it's not your kid. You adopted him. An orphan. His father died, his mother died. You took him, his parents died. You took him and you raised him like he's your own son. Besides the chesed that every second of your life it's kindness, feed him, you walk him, take him to the doctor, you make him sleep, you buy clothes for him. Almost every minute of your life is chesed. It's like you're busy with chesed, and it's not your obligation. It's your choice. Not your kids, you're obligated. That's it. Your wife, you sign in a ketubah, you're obligated. This is a choice. So every second is a chesed. But what is it? The Torah said, the Midrash says, it's in Midrash Shmot Rabbah. We have Midrash Rabbah, Bereshit, Shmot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, Dvarim. So it's in Shmot, and Parashat Mem Hey Vav. Over there, if you want to find the source. HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed Moshe Rabbeinu all the treasures, all the rewards of all the righteous Jews of all time, and what treasure belongs to what mitzvah. So for instance, he showed him, you see, this treasure, we're talking spiritual treasure. It's for keeping Shabbos. this treasure for eating kosher, this treasure for doing kiddush, this treasure for tefillin, this treasure for modesty. Everything belongs to man. Then he saw one treasure is shining more than anything else. Mamash bright. So Moshe asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I see this treasure is important. Probably for a very big mitzvah. Hashem say yes. For a very big mitzvah. So what is it? Say, raising orphans in your home. For someone who raised orphans, this is his reward. Which means it was the highest reward for raising him. Well, you know, it's amazing. So guess what? Why am I telling you the story of Bet HaLevi? For those of you who know this family, Bet HaLevi, Soloveitchik, they brought so many big, huge, giant rabbis in the last 80 years. All of them came from this shidduch that he married to her. They had more kids on their own. And from that descendants that they established, all these famous rabbanim of Mishpachat Bet HaLevi, that in every yeshiva you have their books, came from the second shidduch that he agreed to marry her. HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw what a beautiful thing he did. And obviously, Baruch Hashem, it paid off in big time. Then, another question. There's a question. You know, the Torah said that if a person went and took a woman and forced her to do something without her agreeing, today, in Israel, he's going to jail 2 or 3 years, and that's it. They send him back home, to the streets. America, maybe he's going to get 10 years in prison, 12 years, a little bit more strict here. What is the punishment of the Torah? The punishment of the Torah is thinking about this woman right now. Since this woman, she's not already available to the market of the shidduchim like she was before, her value went down, because, you know, first thing that people ask, if this woman is kept well or not. If she was already with another man, nobody wants her. Today, nobody cares because it's very hard to find women like this. But in the time of the Torah, maybe out of 1 million girls, you had 2 or 3 that when they got to their marriage, they already been with a man before. It was a very, very rare thing, even by the Goyim. The Goyim kept it because they knew without it, it's impossible to get married in a good shidduch. So, the question is, if a man did it, what does the Torah say? He has to pay 50 kesef, I don't know, like $50,000 today, let's say, to a father, compensation for what he did to him, that his daughter now is going to have difficult time to get married. It's not enough. He's forced to marry her. If she agree. If she has nightmare by looking at him, she doesn't have to. But they tell her, okay, since now it will be very difficult for you to get married, nobody would want you. Nobody, because you lost your value. Because of that, we will force him to marry you. And you learn to forgive him after a few months. It's going to be your husband. After all, he liked you. We're not talking about the psychos that do it because they're mental. Talking a man that had passion to this woman, and that's what he did. So after all, he likes you. You know, give him a chance. He'll make tshuva. He'll marry you. Your father will be a rich man. You can marry him. That's your choice. You don't want? Goodbye. That's it. Question is now is the question. This is now to explain the situation. Now my question is like this. What happens if he's already married? And if he's Ashkenazi? And if it's in the last 1,000 years? Why it's important? Because if he's married and it is an Ashkenazi man and it's in the last 1,000 years, what? He has a cherem of Rabbeinu Gershom applies to him. Rabbeinu Gershom made a decree 1,003 years ago that a European Jewish man cannot marry more than one wife. That's it. They cannot handle one. They're better off not try to have a second one. First manage with the one you have, then we worry. But decree, no one is allowed. Not that it was a common thing. Most Jewish men never wanted to begin with to marry more than one wife. And even if they wanted, it needs the approval of the first wife. That's why in a Sephardic Tuba, a man swears to his wife that he will never marry a woman without her agreement. She has to approve it. So he said, come, darling, here, You like her? Give me the approval. Come on, please. This looks ridiculous. But that's how it is. You sign in a ketubah. Obviously, this signing, that you sign in a ketubah, you nishba b'shvuah chamura, with a handshake is shvuah. Handshake without words. If you just agree on something and you shake hands, that's it. You bind it to it. So, because of that, that person cannot do it. But the truth is that it saves many marriages. Right? Because sometimes the situation between a husband and wife is not as great. They have ups and downs. Sometimes it's great, sometimes a bad week comes and a bad month comes. What happened when the man is furious and that's it, I had it. I'm leaving and goodbye. And what happened now? He cannot get married because he already signed that he will not get married. If he wouldn't sign and she doesn't want to get divorced, she said to the rabbis, I want to stay married to him. No, I don't want the get. No, don't give me a get. I don't want. He said, no, take the get. I already have a new girlfriend. Take the get. No. Now he's stuck. If he doesn't sign the ketubah with handshake, he goes and gets married another girl. Well, he has a wife here and he has a wife there. What can you do? It's not violating any rule of the Torah. Torah allows the man to marry more than one woman. That's why they have this shvuah in the ketubah. Ashkenazim, they don't need to swear. Right? They already bind it to this cherem. You do it, you isolate it. You cannot enter the shul. You cannot enter yeshiva. Nobody can do business with you. Your life become a nightmare. Nobody will dare to do it. Now here is a person who raped this woman, and because of that, is forced to marry her from the Torah. But Rabbeinu Gershom made a cherem. Wow, we got stuck here. No, what do you say?
How could he do that? Like, how could you say something? How could you go? Because even though Rabbeinu Gershom was a great man, and obviously I've heard of it, but if something is from the Torah, can you go against the Torah?
First of all, you ask a famous question. Your question was asked by big, giant rabbis in the last 1,000 years. And the answer to it is that the Torah gave the Chachamim. Rabbeinu Gershom wasn't just another Chacham. He was the chief, the head of the Gola, of the exile, the rabbi of all European countries. He wasn't just the rabbi of one Germany or Poland or Russia. He was the chief authority in the entire, of all the thousands of other rabbis that were all in Europe. He was on top of everyone. And when he saw that people are leaving their wives and running away with the boat to another country, I don't know, from Germany to Poland or from Poland to Russia, remember, there's no trains, no planes, no telephones, no internet, no cameras, nothing. You left her here, you went to Moscow, nobody will ever know where you are. You met a Jewish girl in a shul, you come, you have few friends that know you for 2 weeks, they testify that you are a single guy, nobody knows you have a wife and kids somewhere else, you neglected them and you married another wife. So that's why he made this cherem, because people became rotten. I give you an example. The Torah says if a Jew is stealing, what's his punishment? He has to pay double. What happened if every second person became a thief like today? Nobody's scared from paying double. You say, well, what do I have to lose? I'm going to go to the gym with all the Jewish yeshiva guys running. I don't know what they do in the gym. It's supposed to be in yeshiva, and I steal $100 every day from someone's pocket. What's the worst can happen? After 100 times, somebody will catch me once. I'll give him 200 and continue. So what do I have to lose? So once in a while I pay double. So what happens if this is the situation? Nobody is afraid of Hashem. They're only afraid of the punishment. And since here the punishment is not severe, people steal. The king, which is the chief authority, can make a decree to kill them. Torah didn't say to kill a thief. The king can say from tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, everyone who will be caught with 2 witnesses stealing even $1, they bring him to me, I chop his head off. Permitted. Torah gave the king an authority. Why? It's called tzav hasha'ah. It's called an urgent thing that applies to the moment. You understand? So to prevent, in Hebrew we say andrelamusia, I don't know the right word in English, an anarchy, to create a mess, to prevent a mess, the chief authority has to make decrees. Same thing in Yichud. A man and a woman cannot be in a locked room. that the windows are sealed, or the door is locked, or or in an office when the door is locked, or anything like that. Why? Why is it? Because up to 2,000 years ago, people were very, very strong. They didn't make sins. Even if it was with a woman in a room, even for a week, he wouldn't look at her. Very modest people. The rabbi started to see that people are not so modest as they used to be. So what did they do? They made a committee and they made a decree. What's the decree? It's called yichud, being together alone in a locked room. As soon as you locked yourself with a woman, the Yetzer Hara begins to work. Oh, nobody can come. You're alone now. Take advantage of the situation. But if the door is open and the window is, everyone walks by and see, or any second somebody can walk in. It's a public area. The Yetzer Hara doesn't begin to work. The evil inclination of a person doesn't start. Why it doesn't start? Because it's not gonna. Anyway, it's not realistic. It cannot happen. So this is it. So the Chachamim saw that something like this happened. And they said from now on, it's not only not allowed to touch a not married woman, it's not allowed to be together in a place that maybe you have a thought or do something like that. You understand? So this is an example how the Torah didn't restrict that, and the Chachamim made a restriction because to prevent sins. So the answer will be here that he will have to give her enough money for a man to marry her. Because in those days nobody wanted to marry a girl like this, right? But let's say he would introduce her to another Jew, and he likes her, she's pretty, everything is fine. So he tells him, he presents her, and he says, but, there's always a but. But you should know that something happened. He doesn't say that he is the reason for it. Something happened to her 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Oh, forget about it, why? You should have told me that in the beginning. Why I went on 5 dates with her already? Why I took her to 5 different restaurants? He said, no, shh, don't worry. Pretend you don't know. I'll pay you off. How much you want to marry her? No. I'll give you 10,000. Is that okay? No. Okay, 20. No. Okay, 50. Don't say no. Okay, 50, I'll marry her. This is obligation. It's not a joke. This is mamash halacha. He has to marry her. Why? Because he was the one supposed to marry her. That means by him marrying her is actually saving her. It sounds very primitive. But remember, today, a law like this could not last for a minute. What woman would agree to marry a man that did such a thing like this? We have to go back 2,000, 3,000 years. A woman like this is worse than a death sentence for her. Not like today, the women brag about it. I was a girlfriend of this guy and that guy, and she comes on the television and brag about all her prostitution acts. The world is corrupted. Everything is crazy what's going on here. In the old days, people would hide. That's it. If you know, my life is over. We continue. We have a case here, a pregnant woman in the 27th week of her pregnancy. When they check, they saw that she has few babies, 3, 4, whatever, And then one of the babies is in a serious condition, under tremendous pressure. So the doctors has to make a decision what they do now. If they do a cesarean, it's only the 27th week of the pregnancy. So the other babies are subject to brain damage. They can either become blind or have a defect in their brain, or they can get saved. We don't know. There's no way to know 100%, but it's increasing the risk by a lot. Or they live the pregnancy like that. That baby will die. The one who is under serious condition, he will die inside. And later, when they deliver it, they bury him. That's it. So one died, and the other 2 or 3 made it. So the question is, what the doctor is supposed to do? If they want to save the life of that baby, they have to open her stomach right now. The Torah obligates us to try to save this baby risking the condition of his brothers, it's no guarantee they'll die, and no guarantee they'll become blind or brain damaged. No guarantee. But there's a chance, 30, 40% chance. And one of them at least will get damaged. So the question is a Jew has to sacrifice one of his organs to save the life of another Jew? That's the question. A person is obligated. Let's say a person, his both kidneys don't work. Let's say he has a week to live, unless if he's going to get a transplant. So if we say that every Jew is obligated to give him a kidney, obligated, if not he's going to die, and you with one kidney, you're not going to die. So the law would be that we can send the police to catch the first person on the street that has a match and give him a few punches, put handcuffs on his hand, bringing him to the operation room, operates on him and take a kidney and give it to him. Nobody asks you. It's an obligation. Save the life of a person, no, without asking you. We're just taking, like they do in China. In China, they do it in different ways. They take organs from people, prisoners, they just take them, they steal. And there's a few countries like this that they still live in a very, very cruel societies. You know, in hidden rooms, things that they do to people. So what do you think? What's the halacha? The answer is, you don't have to give any organs of your body to save the life of another Jew. Therefore, over here, the same thing. Since you're going to save one baby, maybe, but you're risking the others, you sit and do nothing. Whatever happened to him, maybe he will make it. He's under risk right now. Maybe they'll make it, maybe not. It's called shev ve'al ta'aseh adif, because you're not allowed to kill and to damage with your hands. You leave the situation as it is, and whatever Hashem wants, that's what's going to happen. Now we have a similar question. This is all real questions that happen in life. What I bring you, it's one after the other. In Johannesburg, in South Africa, there's a Jewish doctor, and in a hospital where he's practicing, they received a new machine that, revive people who are basically dying. They connect this machine to them, and the machine pump life to them somehow, and some of them make it. It saved their life, and one day they get out of the hospital and breathe on their own. It's a very, very expensive machine. The hospital has only one machine, that's it. So now the doctor got instruction from the hospital that only to connect healthy patients to this machine. What does it mean, healthy? Patients that don't die anyway. Like if a patient has a very serious cancer, is going to die in 3-4 months anyway, if you connect him to this machine, it takes hours. The process can take days. Now what happens if they bring a healthy patient just needed, tomorrow he can get out of the hospital or in a day or two. It's going to save his life, and he's gonna live many years. But here you're connecting a guy to the machine, so you give him extension of another month to his life, but he's going to die anyway, one way or the other, from different reasons. So the instruction of the hospital was only to connect to this machine people who are not sufani. Sufani means that his life is coming to an end one way or the other, because of a certain disease that he has. So this Jewish doctor now has a dilemma. He's religious. He sent a question to the rabbis in Israel, am I doing the right thing or not? I have a guy, comes to the hospital, no other patients are coming yet, but we know that every day we receive few of the patients. We connect whoever we can. Now, right now there's no other patients. There's only this chole, these patients that are going to die in 3 months anyway. I want to connect him to give him the ability to live 3 months and not to die today. And their instruction is, I'm not allowed. So I'm basically leaving him in a hospital to die in a few hours. But if I connect him, it's almost guaranteed that 2-3 hours later, a patient will come that can live 70 years from now, and because of that, he's going to die. Because of these patients. So obviously the common sense is, who should you save first? One who has a chance to live longer life, no? For instance, if you have 2 people are in a suicide bomber explode in a place, and you see a 13-year-old boy laying down, he needs immediate help, and you see an 80-year-old man next to him, who you have to start reviving first?
13.
The 13, no? This man lived his life. How long is going to live? Another 2, 3, 5, 10 years. This kid technically should live a long life. Not that I don't want to save him also. I have to save him also. But what's the priority right now? I have only 2 hands and 1 mouth. I have to give him air, you know. So I have to start with the younger one, right? This is the common sense. But what happened in our situation, what does the Torah says? That you have to take care of the mitzvah that you have right now in your hand, regardless of in 2 hours you're going to have a greater mitzvah. Right now, this mitzvah is in front of me. They brought to my room, a patient is going to die in 3 months, we know it. But right now I have an obligation to revive him, because the Torah says that even if we know that the patient dies in a minute or in an hour, we still mechalel Shabbos on him. If he got wounded in an accident, we know anyway he's going to die, this guy. He has AIDS already in progressive situation. Everybody knows him, he's famous. But now, something happened to him, I have to violate Shabbat to save him. Right? How come he's going to die anyway in a week? It doesn't matter. Every second of a life is eternity. A person can achieve a lot in 1 minute of life. So we're not calculating. The Torah says this is what you have to do. So here, even though he's going to die, right now I have an obligation. In 2 hours, somebody else would come. So what's the solution? What do you think is more important? But by connecting him, a healthy person will die. But do I have permission to wait 2 hours knowing a patient is on the way? Or right now the mitzvah is in my hand, so I have to do this smaller mitzvah knowing I'm going to lose a bigger mitzvah in 2 hours? What do you think?
You should do it now.
This is a very hard question. It's not a joke. What do you think is the answer?
You should do it now because you don't know what's going to happen.
So there's a big arguments. The halacha is that you have to leave the machine like the management say, for the people who can get longer life. If you know that patients are coming every day, guarantee. Every day you have 2, 3, 5 that coming every day, then it's an obligation. But if they come, sometimes yes, sometimes no, you don't count on them to come. You have to take care of the one who is in front of you. Rav Zilberstein came up with a brilliant solution. He said, make the machine works in timer, with a timer. I don't know, every 2 hours it shuts by itself. 2 hours, so I'm connecting you 2 hours. If no other patients came in the next 2 hours, I'll extend the timer 2 more hours. If no patients come, I extend the timer 2 hours. So I'm not shutting the machine, I'm not killing him, it's timer. You understand the point here? Yes, I have an obligation to try to save him, but if I have a one that right now is in front of me, so now both of them are in front of me, when the machine disconnects him, I can take it and save this one. You understand? Because I didn't disconnect him. But without the machine, I don't have permission to take the oxygen away from him and kill him, to save another person. En dochim nefesh mipnei nefesh. It's very, very interesting. There was a question here in America about 20 years ago. 2 Siamese twins. They born connected with the chest. 2 little Jews, kid, connected with the chest. One of them has a full heart. The other one has half a heart. Half. Size of the heart, half. Connected. The doctor wants to separate them. Once they separate them, the one with the half heart dies right away. So they told the family, the faster we do it, the better it is. The family is religious. They went to Rav Moshe Feinstein, the posek of America. He went to a room for 10 days, he didn't come out. To review the entire, every page of the Torah that speaks about things that he can learn from, he put on a table and he came with a decision that they're allowed to do it. What's the doubt? What's the doubt? By separating them, you're actually killing the other one with his hand, with your hand. You're actually murdering him. And the Torah says you don't kill one to save another. If the Goyim comes to a Jewish city that's surrounded by a wall, and they say, give us this guy, if you don't send him out of the wall for us to take him, we kill all of you. You're allowed to give him or not? If not, they'll kill everyone. So of course you can tell them, listen, you want him? Come and get him. We don't give it to you. But let's say they say, no, we're not coming in. You have a trap there, we don't trust you. You bring him out to us. You take him and force him to go out and they kill him. You're allowed to do such a thing?
No.
What do you say?
No difference between you and another guy's life.
So it's depend. If this guy is guilty, he has to get a death sentence anyway. He's guilty. And they say his specific name, one way or the other they're going to kill him because they came to kill him. Then you try to convince him to leave. If he doesn't want, you push him out before they kill everyone. But if they say, give us one Jew, we don't care who, nobody guilty, just for our fun. I want a Jew, to kill him tonight. That's our mood. And you have to give one. You may think, okay, let's take one that is anyway going to die in 2 months. It's very sick. We'll give him. You're not allowed. Because you're not allowed to murder a person even a minute before his life's supposed to end. You're not allowed to give. But if they say specifically that they're looking for someone that is guilty of something, that's a different story. But over here, by separating them, you're actually killing a person. So what's the answer? So now come and learn a beautiful law in the Torah. Sad and beautiful at the same time. We have a law, if one Jew runs after another Jew to kill him, with a sword, with a gun, with any kind of something that is about to kill him, and you scream to him, stop, and he continues to run. If you have a gun or a sword, you have an obligation to stop him now. First, you have to aim to his legs. You don't kill him right away. You try to wound him. Or if you can prevent him by locking a door or any kind of way, of course, without killing him, you have to do it. But if the only way to stop the murder is to kill the one who runs after him, before you know the details, maybe he's right. Maybe the one who runs away deserves an execution. You don't know the details. There's no time to check right now. You're allowed to kill him. It's called din rodef. Din rodef. You're allowed to kill him to save the life of a person who runs away. Why? Because it wasn't sentenced in court. He's going to kill him for whatever reason it is. You're allowed to kill him. You're not allowed. You're obligated to kill him. Based on that rule comes Rav Moshe Feinstein and say like this. The baby that has half a heart, he's getting his life from the healthy baby. Without him, he cannot live. How does he live? From the system of his body. Because his heart, if he was born alone with half a heart, he would die in a minute. It's not enough to revive his body. So basically, it's like putting a gun to this baby's head and taking his life away from him. But now, this is the situation. Since he cannot live on his own, he's considered already dead. So all you do is giving the life of this kid that is healthy, which he has life. So now here is the dilemma. Listen, it's getting beautiful. The dilemma is like this. The Torah says if a woman is about to give birth and the baby doesn't come out. Remember, they were not advanced like today. It's midwives. And the baby doesn't come out, and the wife's life is in a risk. Her blood pressure goes up, she's red, she has fever, I don't know. She cannot breathe. Another 3-4 minutes, the mother will die. They have to get a decision now what to do. And the baby doesn't come out. Something is stuck, whatever the case is. What's the halacha? The baby is rodef after his mother. The baby is risking the life of the mother. The life of the mother is in front of us. The baby didn't come out yet. The halacha is you're allowed to take the baby out in pieces, which means you kill him. Like that's what they do today in abortions. They chop him to pieces and take him out to save the life of the mother. But if the head of the baby came out, you're not allowed to kill him anymore. That's it. Because this is life and this is life. Nobody gave you permission to decide who would live. So let me ask you a question I don't understand. If the head is inside the womb, still a live person, no? Well, we see today after 40 days in a sonogram, the baby has a pulse, he moves. We run and scream, abortion is murder, everywhere we go, abortion is murder, So what's the difference if his head is inside or he came outside? If I take a garbage bag and I put a baby inside, I'm allowed to butcher him because he's in a bag? But if he comes out of the bag, I'm not allowed. That's what all these doctors who make an abortion, that's what they say. Oh, inside you can kill, it's nothing. But he comes out, of course they won't kill him. If she already gave birth, it's not going to kill him to pieces, right? But when he's inside, they kill. That's what they do. So what's going on here? Only when he take his head out? No. That's a dilemma. Now we have a Siamese twins, they're connected together. Who gave you permission to decide who would live? Once he took the head out, it's 2 lives. But I don't understand. When the head was in, it's not 2 lives? What's the difference? I tell you the truth, many years ago, when I didn't know that much, this question bothered me a lot. Because I was thinking to myself, maybe it's a proof that abortion is legal. Because you see inside, they chop him to pieces to save the life of the mother, which means the life inside is not as good as the life outside when the head came out. But then when I learned over the years, I saw what a foolish thought I had. The abortion is a complete murder because according to the Torah, even spilling seed for no reason is a murder. It's like a genocide. Before there's life even. It's only seed. It's already a horrible sin. Not to talk about that the Torah said that after 40 days the baby is a full person. After 40 days it becomes a complete person. Pulse, he's tasting, he's thinking, his nerve system is thinking. It's a complete person. So coming back to our question, so what's the difference if he's a complete person? What's the difference if he took his head out or not? It's life and a life. No. Because as long as he's inside his mother, he connected to the cord, and all his life is thanks to his mother life. And he came to risk her life now. That's why we disconnected him from the source of his life. He's living thanks to his mother. He, without his mother, would be dead. But once the head came out, the second that the baby takes his head out, what happened, the Gemara says? All the open holes closed, and all the closed holes opened. That's what happened. This is one of the amazing miracles in the creation. In a millionth of a second, there's changes in the body of the baby, that the cord that connects to his mouth, that cord, when they take it out and they disconnected it, what happened? Obviously, he should have choked. Because now the cord, they take it away, he cannot breathe, the baby should die. But his mouth opened up, and right away he takes milk. The whole system changed. There's changes in the system. Also his bathroom. When he's inside his mother, he doesn't go to... if he will make bathroom inside his mother's body, she'll die from infection. So it's blocked. Once he comes out, it opens up. Same thing urinating system. It's amazing. The whole thing, how it's all changed in a drop of a second. Once he took his head out, he's living on his own. He's alive. When he's inside, he's alive, 100%. He's pulse, he's thinking, he's listening. He feels his mother's feelings. If she wants to take a cigarette, he shrink. He's 100% alive. But the source of his life comes from the mother. What is it like? Like a person who is connected to a machine. If you disconnect the machine, his life is finished. What really keeps him alive? The machine. That's, by the way, a big argument between the rabbis a year ago in Israel. The rabbis were arguing, what happens if a person is about to die and they want to take parts of his body and donate to other people to save their life? So his brain is dead, and they want to take his heart and give it to another Jew to save his life. But by taking his heart, you're killing him instantly. Not that he won't die. By tomorrow he'll be dead anyway. There's only a few hours time to take organs out of his body to save other people. The chief rabbi of the Sfaradim, Rav Ovadia Yosef, said it's a mitzvah. He's dead anyway. What keeps him alive is the machine. The machine extends his life by a day or two. And in that period of time, you have enough time to take parts of his body and transplant them to other people and give them life. Otherwise, they also die. So he died, and he will die, and he will die. All of them will die. So at least since this guy is a lost case, let's take 2 or 3 organs and give it to others, and we save their life. Common sense, no? Comes the chief rabbi of the Ashkenazim, Rav Eliashiv, say, no, it's a murder. Even though it's true we're saving lives of others, but who gives us permission to kill him? So why it's the argument? Rav Ovadia doesn't know it's a murder? He also knows you're killing him by taking his heart out. He claimed What is death according to the Torah? When is a person is 100% dead according to the Torah? Remember, the time that the Torah was given to us, we didn't have all these equipment. How a person is known as dead person? Once he doesn't breathe, he's dead. According to the Torah. The Torah never had to bother with the arguments who's considered dead. Brain dead or heart dead? Why? Because once a person stops breathing, they know he's dead in a minute or two. That's it. That's what the Torah says. Lechol asher neshama be'apo. Everyone who is still breathing is still alive. Once he stops breathing, he's dead. Today, the machines made a mess. The machine changed the situation. A person is dead. He died. You connect him to the machine, you give him some shocks in his chest, up, he's back to life, and the machine keeps him living for another day or two. Comes Rav Ovadia and says he's really dead. Because he died according to Torah, he's died. He stopped breathing, that's it, he died. Brain, heart, doesn't matter, he's dead already. What keeps him alive? Equipment. The Torah didn't speak about it. It's not murder, he dead by himself. I don't have an obligation to continue to revive a dead man artificially. Rav Eliashiv said it's true, the machine keeps him alive, but there's a doubt. How do we know? The Torah didn't speak about it. Still a doubt. You don't have permission with the doubt to murder a person. Maybe it's a murder. Big arguments. When I sat with the state controller of New York, one time we went to Kolbe restaurant here. No? And so what happened is that we went to sit, we're arguing, if you know him, his name is Avesi, he's all over the news now. You hear about him on the television every week. So I sat with him for 3 hours. He came to my lecture, and then we sat for 3 hours arguing if the Torah is divine or not. Right here in Main Street. So I told him, that's when this argument was fresh. It was all over the news, I think, that day. So I told him, it's very interesting things in the news today. So he told me, I can't believe you're telling me this. In the 70s, we had a case like this. And I wrote a letter to the Supreme Court to define what dead is. So one of the judges called me begging. He said, Alan, why are you putting me in such situation? You want me to be God, to decide what's life, what's dead? Please withdraw this question. Don't make us decide. Nobody wants to decide. Not here, not in a court in America, not in a court in Israel. Everyone ran away from this question. Who's considered dead? Brain dead? Heart dead? Cannot breathe? The equipment got us all mixed up. And according to the Torah, if you cannot breathe on your own, that's it. But with the equipment, we have some doubts here. Now, another question. There's a mitzvah in the Torah, asur lenachesh. Person cannot go by signs. For instance, he say, I'll go to do the test tomorrow morning. If I'll miss my bus, then it's a sign I should not do the test. I don't take a cab. If it's going to be a sunny day, then I'm going to go to the test. God, give me a sign. Sunny, I'm doing it. Not sunny, if I see a black cat crossing the street, that day I keep myself in the house, it's for sure an accident. If my husband will wear his white shirt tomorrow morning, it's a sign that I have to go with him to work. If he wears his blue shirt, it's a sign I have to be in bed all day. All kinds of nonsense like this. Right? Many of us go by signs. So the Torah said, and you're not allowed to do it. What does it mean you're not allowed to do it? It's the custom of the Knaanim, of the Amorim, I should say. The Amorim was one of the 7 nations that the Torah mentioned. Kemaaseh ha'Emori. The Amorim, all these 7 nations that sat in Israel when we occupied the land, these nations, they are full of magics and black magic and all kinds of things like this that they have in Haiti. People are wondering why God is so angry at Haiti. One disaster after the other. Just finished with few 100,000 that died, an earthquake, and a hurricane. Every week something else over there. You hear the news, no? Why? Number 1 in the world in magics, black magics, all kinds of worshipping idols. They are the world expert over there. Every other person over there, he has in his house all these idols, all these kishufim, killing each other, doing all kinds of voodoos. And this is the things that Hashem hates the most. So one person, he's supposed to fly tomorrow on a business trip. He has his tickets ready in his closet. And in the middle of the night, fire happened in the house. And guess what? From all the things in the house, the tickets burned. He had the tickets in the envelope. Once he put the fire off, nothing got damaged, not the suit, not the shirts, nothing, not the shoes. The envelope with the tickets got burned. So in the morning he said to his wife, I'm not going on a trip. God sent me a clear message. How can I go on a trip? The tickets burned? Yeah, I can make new tickets, no problem, in a counter. But don't you see the sign? Based on what I just said, it's not allowed to do it. No, what do you think? What's going to be the law? Comes to the rabbi to ask him, should I go on a trip or not? No, what's the answer?
Sure.
The Gemara bring a story. The Gemara bring a story about Rabbi Akiva. You heard about Rabbi Akiva? Rabbi Akiva one time walked with his donkey and his rooster. Why does he need to walk with a rooster on the street? An alarm clock. The rooster, sunrise, dawn, the rooster begins to make his noise. So he has a rooster, a donkey, and a candle. Candle, it's like a flashlight. He comes to a city of people. He asks them if they have a room for him to sleep for the night. They couldn't find him a place to sleep. So he doesn't have a place to sleep. So he decided to go and sleep in a field. What can he do? He puts his donkey there. By walking in the field, came the wind, and the candle went off. He's alone in the darkness now, in the middle of the night. No, so he decided to sleep where he is. So he set up his bed. He's about to sleep. A cat came and attacked his rooster, rip him apart. The rooster is gone. Rabbi Akiva said, Kol man David Rachmana latav avid. Everything Hashem does for good. Now he has only his donkey. Before he even fell asleep, came a lion that passed by over there. He escaped from the safari in Ramat Gan over there. The lion came and killed his donkey. Now he doesn't have an alarm, he doesn't have light, and he doesn't have a car. The donkey, stuck alone in the middle of the field. Everything Hashem does for a reason. The morning came, he looked around, all the people of that city are butchered. Came the Romans and butchered all of them, which means if he will give him a room, he will be dead. If the candle wouldn't go off, they'll find him. They see light in the field, they come and kill him there. If the cat wouldn't kill the rooster will go 4 in the morning, cuckoo. The Romans say, oh, we're on the way. Somebody is there. And if the lion wouldn't kill the donkey, what would happen? What would happen? They see a donkey standing over there. Oh, here, we can see the donkey. They look around, they see a donkey, they go. That's the story. So the Ben Ish Chai asked a question. I don't understand, he say. Why Rabbi Akiva didn't light the candle again? The wind put the candle off. No, so he's stuck now in the middle of the night because your light went off. Change the battery. Well, you have to understand, it's not candle like we have in Hanukkah candle that we walk in the street. Nobody is a moron to walk in the street with a candle like every second you have to light it again. There's wind. They have a special oil, menorah with glass. It's covered with glass. Of course, what? People walk in the street at night with this. It's protected from the wind. So Rabbi Akiva saw that the menorah, the light went off in such a weird, bizarre way. How? It's blocked. The wind never puts it in. The wind got from the bottom to some hole that was there and put it off with something like this. Never happened. It's a sign from Shamayim that I have to park here. So based on that, you see, you're allowed to do signs. Same thing with the tickets. If the sign that the menorah went in such a strange way, of course he can put it back on. But he saw it's a siman from Shamayim. He said, Rabbi Akiva, it's like Moshe Rabbeinu, he's in his level. Say, I'm going to park here, and his life got saved. So that's supposedly a proof to the case with the tickets. You agree or not? I give you another Gemara. This story that I told you was Gemara in Brachot, page Samech, page 60. You can see it in Masechet Brachot. It's a very famous story. The second proof is Gemara in Moed Katan, page 17. What's this Gemara? Rav Yehuda, before he died, he took a Talmid Chacham that made Chilul Hashem. He did some Avera and it became a big Chilul Hashem. People were speaking about the Torah. How can a rabbi like this did what he did? So Rav Yehuda put him in Nidui. It's a punishment. You're in isolation. That's it. No, so he's in Nidui. In the meantime, after a while, Rav Yehuda passed away. The rabbi who puts him in isolation, he passed away. So now this Talmid Chacham showed up in the yeshiva. He came to the rabbis and he said, please release me from this Nidui. Tatiru li ta Nidui. So Rav Ami was there, one of the big rabbi in the yeshiva. He agreed. Okay, it's a sign, the Rav that put you in Nidui is passed away. We're not hurting his feeling, we're not overruling his decision. No, so no problem. Okay, let's do it. All of a sudden, one of the rabbis there, his name is Shmuel Bar Nachmani, got up and said, I disagree to take him out of isolation. He should stay in isolation. Ma shifcha shel bet Rabbi? What's the servant of Rabbi? They put her in Nidui 3 years, not a day less. And she was nothing. She wasn't a rabbi. She's not a Talmid Chacham. Somebody like you that did what you did, knowing all the Torah by heart. Minimum, you have to finish your isolation at least 3 years. So, all of a sudden, Rabbi Zera got up. Listen to this, it's beautiful. Rabbi Zera got up and he said, I agree with him. But a minute before, Rabbi Zera said, like Rabbi Ami, okay, let's take you out of isolation. When this rabbi got up, he said, I agree with him. So I asked him, what happened? You changed your mind? He said, when is the last time you saw this rabbi here in the yeshiva? Years ago. Once every 10 years we see him one day. He's not learning in this yeshiva. Today, accidentally on his trip, he was visiting us. If the day that we have to reach a decision, if to release this guy from his nidui or not, all of a sudden he show up, and from all the hundreds of people here in yeshiva, is the only one who got up and said what he said. Don't you understand that Hashem got him here for a reason? From Shamayim, they don't want him to get out of his isolation. So this is a sign. If he was there every day, they argue with him. No, you say this, we say that, we decide to take him out. But it's somebody who came once every 10 years. Imagine we're sitting here, and for the first time in history, a person showed up and he has something to say. We never saw his face before. It's not an ordinary thing here. It's something weird, strange. So the answer to this is like this. Jews are not allowed to go by signs. It's a sin from the Torah. It's like eating pork. If a person say, oh, if tomorrow this and this will happen, then I won't go. If this will happen, I will go. If the phone will ring in the next hour, I'm giving tzedakah to the guy who comes. If the phone won't ring, I won't give. He's not allowed to do it. It's a sin from the Torah. Mamash, a sin from the Torah. But if you see a matter of hashgacha, supervision of Hashem, something very unique, it's not ordinary siman, if it's going to rain or not. This is things that happen all the time. This is a very strange way, 1 in a million. Then you see a sign from Shammai. You cannot be blind. Now I'm going to tell you a story that if you came to the world just to hear this story, it was worth it for you. Story of Hashgacha. Hashgacha, 100%. It happens to me. It's not from the Gemara. It happened last Tuesday, 6 days ago. I come home in the afternoon, I get in, I see my wife is holding the phone in one hand and the credit card in the other hand. Typical scene. not by me. By me, the credit card is sleeping in the closet, Baruch Hashem, for a long time. That's why it attracts my attention. My wife with the phone and a credit card, something is fishy. So I come closer. I said, what happened? So she said, I was thinking to myself, maybe she forgot to pay a bill. Now there's no time to mail it. That's what I'm thinking. So she said, we have to order new checks. Well, we have a few more checks left. That's it. We ran out of them. I said, oh yes, so where are you getting them from? She said, from the place we got them 3 years ago. I see they have a advertisement here. So I said, how much you ordering? How many? She said, 375. So I said, how much they charging? She tells me $83. I said, what? 375 pieces of little papers, $83? Doesn't make sense to me. Especially when 3 years ago we bought 1,000 for $25. It went that expensive? I said to her, it doesn't make sense to me. Let's include shipping, this, that. It doesn't make sense. Give me 5 minutes, hang up. Let me check. I come to the computer, I put print checks. You can go and try it. 10,000 names of companies came up, at least. Hundreds of full pages. Thinking to myself, what, every other person in America is printing checks. Everyone has computer, he wants to make money, he puts an ad, free ad, what? How would I know which one to choose? Well, I have time to save 40, 50 bucks. I'm going to spend my whole day on the phone now. So I'm thinking to myself, you know what, let me gamble on one. Let me choose one company. I don't know, all of them, the cheapest price, best prices, all of them. Let's choose this one. I clicked on this one, beautiful picture came out, all kinds of checks. Then I see the people sell over there 600 check for $37, which means a quarter of a price from the other one. Mamash, a quarter. I said, okay, that's saving enough. Probably that's cheaper, but that's good enough. No, going down 75% on a price in a minute, good enough for me, but I don't have patience to start typing credit card numbers. So I say, here, it's an 800 number, let me call. Listen good to this story, because you never heard such a story, I'm telling you. So I said, let me call. I call up the 800 number, I say, for sales, press 1. I press 1. Say, after maybe 30 seconds, a guy picked up the phone, an American guy. Hello, yes, I see that you advertise 600 check for $37, fine. Okay, is it include shipping or not? I'm thinking to myself, now he's going to give me the shipping. That's probably the trick. So he said to me, no, it's not include shipping. So I said, okay, so how much is the shipping? He said, depend to where. I say, to Muncie, New York. So he said, where in Muncie? Thinking to myself, if it comes to this street or that street, there's a difference of the shipping. There's something in his question. So I tell him, Highview corner of Remsen. He said, oh, no shipping. Just come tonight to Rav Schlesinger shiur at 8:30 and I'll bring you the box. Next to my house is a big shul. Every night there's a daily shiur. Half of months he comes to the shiur. A very big Talmid Chacham. He gives beautiful shiurim. So he's one of the people who daven next door to my home. From thousands of numbers. But the story didn't begin yet. Wait. Stories like this is mitzvah to say, because you see the Hashgacha of Hashem, not 100%, 1,000,000,000%. People who claim the world is coincidence. So I say to him, oh, you live in Muncie? He says, yes. I say, where? He say, on Bates Drive. I said, very nice. I used to live in Bates Drive. I used to rent a house there. Bates Drive. I said, where in Bates Drive? Guess what? He lives in a house where I used to live. I went the next day to pick up the checks. His daughter opened the door. Old memories from thousands of numbers. I said, let's pick up a number. Come tonight to the shiur, I'll bring you the box. No? What do you say about this? The next morning I go to the shul. I have a